Hello, and welcome to Tech Talk, brought to you by Jump by Cognitia. My name is Matthew, and I'm one of the technical instructors here with our Jump team. And with me today, we have our special co-host, Sierra, who is our digital coaching specialist. Hey, Sierra, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Matthew, and I'm super excited to be here today.
Awesome. We've got a good episode ahead of us, and glad to have you on board as always. Today, our special guest is Nikita, coming to you from one of our top financial clients here with the Jump program. So welcome, Nikita. Happy to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. Hello.
Awesome. Well, today's episode, we're going to be chatting with Nikita about her experience getting into technology, as well as focusing in on women in technology and the challenges and general experience of how that has been for Nikita. And so to get us started, I'll go ahead and pass it over to my co-host, Sierra.
Thanks, Matthew. And yeah, we would love to dive right into it, Nikita. So really, we want to learn a little bit more about your journey as a woman in the tech field. So we know that the tech field is such a high in demand field these days. And we know that women are more so of an underrepresented group in the tech field still. Although companies are really trying to put that push to diversify their workspace, we know that we're not still at that full diversity that we would love to see. So I would love to hear a little bit about if you have, if any, experienced any challenges as a woman in technology, but overall, we would love to hear how your journey has been so far in the tech field.
Well, speaking of underrepresentation, that is how I felt when I was, learning Java, learning all of my tech skills. I started out in university. That's when I really got into technology. And what I noticed in my classes is that the ratio between male and female classmates, there's usually higher, like male population, I guess, if that's the correct word, while there's only be like a handful of other females in the class. And, we would become a little bit close knit because we're like, oh, we're a small subgroup in comparison to the rest of the class. So I guess that would be kind of just something I noticed, but I didn't really feel like I was treated differently because I was like a minority in terms of gender, And I mean,
Right.
even now on my client side, I mean, maybe there is like slightly more men than women from what I've seen, but I'm still not treated differently or anything. I'm only I'm only assessed based on what I can do, like my coding skills. Me being female doesn't really affect how I've been treated in my experience.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Good. And that's so good to hear. What about the women on your client site? Can you talk about some of the women that you've worked with and what your experience has been with other women so far?
Oh, they're great. They're really helpful and really get me up to speed. And, they know what they're doing. Sometimes there's this stereotype that like men are, more suited to tech than women. Like it's just some sort of stereotype that's been perpetuated. But, the technological knowledge isn't gender based. Like these women are really amazing and they've really been like a mentor to me while on client side, which is something I've missed out on when I first started getting into technology. I said I started studying it in university, but my interest in it actually came from like late high school. But the thing is, that was something I learned, like I got the interest by myself. I just I wanted to make my blog pretty and add like a pink banner or something. So that's how I dabbled into HTML and CSS. I didn't particularly have like a female mentor or someone to look up to that would inspire me to like get into technology. I feel like if I did have that, I would have gotten into the STEM field way earlier. I said I had a lot of more male classmates around me during school. There are like some really smart guys there. And what I've noticed is those guys, they got into technology like way early in their lives, like maybe in middle school or something. And I just feel like that's something that perhaps, girls aren't really pushed to do during that time, during
Right.
like the early stages of their education. So I feel like if there was a mentor, a female mentor available to like, push them to believe that, hey, you can do this too. It's not just a guy thing. That might help with the, the underrepresentation mentioned earlier. But I mean, right now, there are some wonderful women helping me out on a client site right now.
Amazing. I mean, I'm so happy to hear about that. And you're totally right. I do think that there has been a little bit of a shift. As you mentioned, when you first started off, there wasn't as many women in those computer science classes. And it's so good to see that now, at least, there's a little bit more diversity in terms of your surroundings in the tech field. It seems like you have a lot of great women mentors and a really good support system overall. So I love to hear that. And again, you're totally right. I think it is something that there are a lot more women mentors needed so that interest could start earlier. So thank you so much for sharing that. I think your journey, really is inspirational to a lot of people.
I hope I can inspire others.
I am sure you do, Nikita. You've been very successful in our jump program in preparation for your role as a developer, and you're obviously continuing to have that success at your current role. And having mentorship, you're right, really does help add to motivation, maybe when you're not sure where to go, or just to kind of talk to someone who's been through it. And who knows, as we have change in the future, you could be one of those mentors, Nikita. um, I know you would be a great mentor. But as we're coming up here on time, let me ask you, what advice would you give to future generations of women entering the tech field?
Oh, I would say to just know your worth, because I mentioned earlier, like, this technological knowledge, that's kind of a tongue twister. Like, that's not something that's just a guy thing. It's just knowledge, and that's something that anyone can learn and do. So, even if it turns out that you're in a situation where like you're one of the few females in your department or something, like, don't let that get you down. You're still just as capable as the other men in your department. And just, yeah. And even if like people do get on your case because of gender or whatever, um, either, find better horizons so you can really like show off your stuff, or, maybe, push yourself to be like, this is me, I know what I'm doing in your workplace to change and create a better environment to welcome more women into, your work environment, and yeah, into your work environment.
Absolutely. That's a powerful message for sure. And I know our viewers and especially, of course, the next generation of women entering tech are going to really appreciate your message and sharing your experience. That does take us to our time here today. So thank you so much, Nikita, our special guest from one of our top financial clients. So happy to have you here today, Nikita.
Thanks for having me. It was wonderful to have this opportunity to speak.
Of course. And we had our special co-host today, Sierra White. Thanks again for being here with us as well, Sierra.
Yes, it was great chatting with Nikita. I think her journey has really benefited a lot of viewers. So happy to be here with you all.
Of course. And I'm your host, Matthew Truelove. You've been listening to Tech Talk, brought to you by Jump by Cognitia. Thanks for listening. Take care, and we'll see you next time.